Joe Biden has effectively disappeared since the election, and I think I know why. Let's get into it. All right, so the reason I'm thinking about this is I saw a Politico story recently, and in it they document just how little Joe Biden's been around. Let me just read a little bit from it. This is the top. Joe Biden is president of the United States for 42 more days. But within the Democratic Party on Capitol Hill, and even within his own administration, it feels like he left the Oval Office weeks ago. Biden has effectively disappeared from the radar in the wake of Democrats' bruising electoral loss. Since November 5th, he's largely stuck to prepared remarks, avoided unscripted public appearances or press questions, and opted to sit out the raging debate over Donald Trump's victory, policy conversations in Congress, and the Democratic Party's future. Yeah, that about gets to my thoughts on all this, which is he's just not around. I was thinking of this over the weekend when I saw Biden talk about Syria and the Syrian rebels taking over, and I thought, holy cow, I have not seen that man in a long time. Now, why? All right, let's go through a few reasons for the why, because I think it is indisputable Biden has not been around very much, but the why is actually, I think, more intriguing. So I've got three basic reasons for why I think this is. And it's probably a combo of these, but these are the three big ones. Number one, Joe Biden, in case you've been on another planet for the last year, is 82 years old. This was a problem from the very start of when he said he was going to run for a second term in 2024. It was an issue with voters in the campaign throughout, including Democratic voters who thought he was too old and not competent to do the job. And then it came to a head, obviously, on June 27th, 2024, when Joe Biden and Donald Trump debated on CNN in an Atlanta studio. That debate, I think it's fair to say, I don't want to be too much a prisoner of recent history, but I think it's fair to say is one of the most consequential debates in modern American history, because what it showed within the first 10 minutes was that Joe Biden was out of it. Whether he was having a bad day or whether that's sort of how he is generally, I don't know. But what was clear was that he was not with it, and he certainly couldn't withstand staying in the presidential race for another 6 months, and, by the way, also being president for another 4 years. So we knew, even though they denied it, we knew that his staff, his senior staff, his family were shielding him from a lot of press opportunities, potential slip-ups, potential gaffes in the run-up to that debate, but it became clear why in that debate. And so, to me, it's probably not much of a leap to assume that they want to protect him in his final weeks and months in office, because they don't want his legacy to be not just the guy who had to get out of the race because he was too old, not just the guy who pardoned his son, but also the guy who said or did something colossally bad or dumb or forgot his place or forgot where he was. You know what I mean? Some kind of age-related issue at the end of his presidency. So he's 82 years old. That's reason one, and it's a big one. Number two, Joe Biden is not particularly popular in general, but among Democrats. I think that when the 2024 election blame pie got doled out, Joe Biden got the majority of it. Now, we can debate whether he should have. Should he be blamed more than Kamala Harris, who's actually the candidate, or not? But what's clear is the narrative that has taken hold in the Democratic Party is that Joe Biden screwed this all up. He screwed it up by not being a bridge to a next generation, as he said he would be when he ran in 2020, by deciding in 2022 he was going to run for another term, and then by sort of, doing that debate, doing as bad as he did in that debate, that June debate, and then taking 3.5 weeks before he got out of the race after that. So I think they blame him a lot for that. Then I also think the pardon of his son Hunter is something that most Democratic elected officials, if they're being honest, and I say most, not all, but most Democratic elected officials, if they're being honest, think was a really dumb political thing for Joe Biden to do, that it gives carte blanche to Donald Trump, that it undermines Biden and the Democrats' credibility, since they had spent 2 years saying he's not going to pardon him, he's not going to pardon him, he's not going to pardon him, and then they pardoned him. So I don't really think that Democrats are clamoring for more Joe Biden at the moment. And so I think he's probably not being invited to all that many things. I think basically they're saying, hey, can you lay low as we try to figure out the party? And I think he's mostly checked out of all of that because you know what? He thinks, whether you agree with him or not, he thinks he deserved better. He thinks he deserved better treatment. I think he's probably still pissed off at Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama, who helped push him out of the presidential race. Even though he should have gotten out, they helped facilitate that. So I think he's still pissed off about that, which I understand from a human level, if not on a political level. And I don't think he wants to be involved, and I don't think they want him involved. So that's reason 2. Reason 3, Biden looks smaller because Trump, Donald Trump that is, looks so big. So think about the last week and a half. Trump is at the reopening of Notre Dame in Paris. He's meeting with Emmanuel Macron. He's at Mar-a-Lago meeting with Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister. He's talking about tariffs that he's going to put on China and Canada and Mexico. He's everywhere, right? He's acting like he's the current president. You know, that's sort of how he is envisioning himself. And so that I think that positioning makes Biden look smaller. It makes him look less significant, less consequential, less, big. And I think that's a part of it too. So I think if you add all of those things up, you get where we are right now, which is Joe Biden is simply not the guy who is standing out as president. It looks like he's limping toward the finish line here. It looks like whether it's he's too old, whether Democrats don't want him, whether it's because Trump is such a big figure right now on the sort of national and international landscape, whatever the reasons, the reality of the situation is that Joe Biden looks really, really small. And I know his White House, they put out a memo saying they're going to sprint through the last final 42 days. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. They're going to do the other thing. They're going to act. Maybe. But, count me a little bit skeptical that that's actually going to happen. Because I think that the things, age is not going to change. He's not going to get younger. Democrats are not suddenly going to want him more to be around. And Trump is not going to back away from the spotlight, right? I mean, he never does. He never will. He sees an empty spotlight and he runs toward it. So add all those things up, and I think you're going to get a diminished and disappearing Joe Biden that will continue through the next 40-ish days into the end of his campaign. All right, that's it for me today. As always, 4 things I ask you to do. Number 1, I ask you to subscribe to this channel if you have not. Number 2, like this video. Just give it the old thumbs up. Number 3, comment on this video. Do it for the algorithm, if for nothing else. And number four, make sure you tell. I'm holding my computer, so I'm going to do 5, 10 friends. I'm in Georgetown today. I'm doing some filming for another shoot, unrelated sports show I'm doing. But thank you as always for your support. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I'm out.